The wind howled so hard that night it rattled the windows like warning knocks. I want you to picture this, because from the very first moment, something feels wrong. A single lantern flickered inside the ranch house, casting long, nervous shadows everywhere. That was when she spoke, her voice steady but breaking underneath the courage. "I'll leave at dawn," the rejected mail-order bride said, standing near the cold door. You can almost feel the silence stretch, thick and heavy between two strangers. Snow pressed against the glass like it was listening to their private pain. The rancher did not answer right away, and that pause changed everything forever. His boots stayed planted, his jaw tight, eyes darker than the storm outside. Right then, you know this is not just another Wild West love story. Now let me slow this moment down so you don't miss what matters. She had traveled weeks believing hope was waiting at the end of dust. Instead, she found rejection written plainly across a tired rancher's face. He wasn't cruel, not loud, not angry, just painfully closed and guarded. She held her small bag like it was the last piece of dignity left. I imagine you wondering what you would do standing right there. The fire cracked softly, mocking the tension neither of them could escape. Outside, the night promised danger, wolves, freezing winds, and endless darkness. Still, she lifted her chin, refusing to beg for kindness again. That strength caught his attention in a way he never expected. He finally spoke, but his words came out rough and uncertain. "You don't owe me anything," he said, staring at the wooden floorboards. Those words hurt more than shouting ever could, and she felt it deeply. She nodded, swallowing tears she refused to let him see fall. This was supposed to be her fresh start, not another quiet ending. She turned toward the door, already planning her steps at first light. I want you to notice how lonely both of them feel right now. Two people standing feet apart, separated by fear and past wounds. The storm outside grew louder, like the world itself was protesting. And that's when everything suddenly shifted without warning. As she reached for the door latch, his hand slammed against the wood. The sound echoed sharp, making her freeze mid-breath in pure shock. "Not alone," he said firmly, his voice stronger than before. You can feel that line hit harder than any love confession. She turned slowly, confusion and disbelief battling across her face. No one had stopped her before, not like this, not ever. He moved between her and the door, blocking the cold completely. Snowlight spilled behind him, outlining a man fighting himself inside. This wasn't about ownership, control, or pride, and he knew it. This was fear of letting another soul disappear into the dark. He told her the truth then, the kind men bury for decades. The last woman he loved died riding out alone during a storm. Since then, he believed surviving meant never caring that deeply again. You and I both know how that kind of loss hardens people. He admitted rejecting her was easier than risking another heartbreak. She listened quietly, anger softening into something closer to understanding. For the first time, she saw his loneliness matched her own. The fire seemed warmer now, like it approved of the honesty. She lowered her bag, unsure what tomorrow was supposed to bring. The night outside paused, as if waiting for their decision. She told him she wasn't asking for love, only respect and safety. Those words landed heavy, because that was something he could give. I want you to notice how real this moment feels, imperfect yet honest. No promises were made, no fairy tales spoken by flickering firelight. Just two wounded people deciding not to abandon each other tonight. He slowly moved the chair back to the table, offering a place. She sat carefully, still ready to leave if hope betrayed her again. The storm softened slightly, though the wind still whispered threats. They shared a simple meal, silence no longer sharp, just cautious. Sometimes survival begins with staying when running feels easier. Dawn came slowly, painting the snow pink and gold beyond the windows. She woke fully dressed, expecting regret or renewed rejection immediately. Instead, she found coffee waiting, steaming beside the cold stove. He stood there awkwardly, unsure how to speak without ruining everything. "You can stay until road's clear," he offered, eyes hopeful but guarded. She studied his face, searching for lies or pity, finding neither. This wasn't romance yet, and you can feel that honesty. It was two people choosing patience instead of fear-driven decisions. Outside, the world looked harsh, but inside felt unexpectedly calm. That contrast is where real Wild West stories are born. Days passed with shared chores, cautious conversations, and quiet glances exchanged. She proved strong, capable, and unwilling to be treated like charity. He noticed how laughter slowly returned to his forgotten rooms. I want you to imagine how unfamiliar happiness can feel after grief. Neither rushed forward, both respecting the fragile balance forming. At night, storms still came, but they faced them together. Trust doesn't arrive suddenly, it grows through small, consistent choices. She stopped packing her bag each evening, and he noticed. The house felt less like a shelter and more like a home. Sometimes staying becomes the bravest journey of all. One evening, she finally asked if she was still unwanted. The question hit him harder than any winter wind ever could. He admitted he was afraid she'd leave once she truly saw him. That honesty cracked something open he thought permanently sealed. She reminded him she chose to stay, not because she had to. I want you to hear that clearly, because choice changes everything. He didn't block the door anymore, he opened it for air. Freedom replaced fear, and respect replaced desperate control. Outside, stars burned bright over the quiet ranch land. Inside, two hearts learned how to breathe again. By spring, the snow melted, and so did most of their defenses. Neighbors noticed changes, laughter drifting farther than before. She no longer felt like a rejected bride, but a partner. He no longer felt cursed, but cautiously hopeful about tomorrow. They never spoke about that first night as a mistake. Instead, they called it the moment everything truly began. Life stayed hard, work stayed heavy, and love stayed imperfect. But it was real, earned, and chosen every single day. That's what makes this story worth telling and remembering. And maybe, that's why it stays with you too. So if this story pulled you in, don't just ride off quietly. Subscribe to the channel for more Wild West stories like this. Hit the like button if you felt that moment at the door. Share your thoughts below. Would you have stayed or left at dawn? Your comments shape what stories I tell next on this channel.